Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Tuesday, and welcome to another pop-up, number 3. Let's get to it. Nick Elam, professor at Ball State, PhD, specialized in educational leadership, a former high school baseball coach, and a part-time groundskeeper for the Cincinnati Reds, is also a Mensa member. Now, Mensa is a organization. The word actually means mind, table, and month, and it was created to serve as a roundtable society for highly intelligent people to meet on a monthly basis. It's now internationally known. There's over 100,000 members in 100 countries throughout the world. Now, the actual criteria or level is the top 2% smartest people in the world. So this dude's got a big brain. It's about 130 to 140 IQ, at least. That's the minimum. And anyway, this Nick Elam loves sports. He loves basketball, but more importantly, he loves baseball. So I was forwarded this article by my buddy Brian. I have a lot of friends named Brian. My parents obviously were not very original. Sister's name is Rebecca. Brother's name is Ben. So there you go. Anyway, a friend Brian, or B Rich as we call him, we run a over 30 wooden bat league here in Wake Forest, North Carolina. And he sent me this article, and I thought it was very interesting. And I wanted to mention these little caveats and give you a link so you can do further information or investigation at your own leisure. So anyway, Elam is known for doing the Elam ending. This is where the clock, the first whistle under 3 minutes in basketball would then usher in this idea. So the clock would no longer become a factor. So it would take the score of the team that's leading, add 7, and that would then become the end game, point total, kind of like backyard basketball, street ball. You go to 11, 21, whatever odd number you chose. So, for example, if the Warriors were leading the Cavs 106 to 101, there was a whistle at the 2 minute and 53 second mark. Clock goes away. You add 7 to the 106 score, and now the end game score you're shooting for is 113. So 113 points wins you the game. So this keeps the Cavs, or the team losing, from doing the hack-a-shack, and it also rewards the team winning, the Warriors in this case, because they're already that much closer to the final score and winning the game. So this, because the last 3 minutes of a basketball game can get ridiculous, and then they review everything. Why is the last 3 minutes of a basketball game completely different than the other 45? Anyway, this is about baseball, not basketball. So Elam loves baseball, as I mentioned. So he was watching Game 5 of the divisional round playoffs last year, Nationals, Cubs, and he became tired of the game as it crept over the 4-hour mark. It actually concluded at 4 hours and 37 minutes, and Nick's excitement had greatly waned. As Jeff Passan says, he's the one who wrote this article I'm about to reference. He said, when you lose the Nick Elams of the world, there's a problem. So there's a bunch of ideas, several, that Nick mentions that he thinks can really help the game of baseball as we're ushering in the new fans. We're at a very pivotal moment in the sport where we have to do something to keep the old and the new fans. As information and technology and society as a whole starts moving in a very drastic, different direction, and this always happens every several decades, we have a shift, and we're having one right now, and it's impacting sports. So Elam decided to put out a couple of suggestions. Some are good, some are like, it is what it is. But I just wanted to mention them, and then I have the link to the article so you can read for further information. So again, thanks my buddy B Rich for sending this to me. Appreciate it. Maybe we'll take some of these and make an episode out of it. Let me know your thoughts, okay? All right, number 1, our first one is dynamic strike zone. So at an O count, no balls, no strikes, the strike zone is smaller. And then as every pitch becomes a strike, so you get a 0-1 count, it expands. 0-2 count, it expands again. This way, it allows the batter to get a better pitch first go-around. Or not even first go-around, but if it's 2-0, the strike zone is still the same. So they're going to get a good pitch, put the ball in play early. But with the pitcher, if he gets that first strike, now it's going to be to his advantage. So there's still strategy involved. I thought this was very creative. Whether you like it or not, it's whatever. I always thought it's best to expand the strike zone anyway to put more balls in play. That's just me. Next is move the pitching rubber to the true center of the diamond. So that would move it back 3 feet. And that gives the batters more reaction time. I don't know what that does to the pitcher. I'm not a pitcher. I can only imagine the uproar with that one. But again, it's there. Don't kill the messenger. Institute a 3-batter minimum for relief pitchers. So when a relief pitcher comes in, he has to pitch to 3 batters minimum, unless he closed out the inning and then he's no longer held to that. So again, you can read more about that in the article. I want to point people towards Jeff Passan's work. I don't want to take the credit for it. Great article. I just want to point you in that direction. All right, next is embrace the regionality in a way no other sport ever has. So instead of divisions, you have American League, National League, 15 teams. And what you do with that is it's the best teams go to the playoffs. Maybe even not a threshold, the opposite of that. A minimum criteria of 90 wins. And they go in the playoffs. Choose your own adventure playoff format. This is the top team, whether they're a division winner. So if the wild card is the better team, they just struggled or they were in a really tough division, they get to choose, if they make it, they get to choose who they play. Interesting. Making the All-Star game old versus young. I actually like this because we flirted. We didn't flirt with the idea. We actually started dating the idea of whoever wins the All-Star game, they get home field advantage, which I thought was utterly stupid. They're trying to put meaning back in the All-Star break or All-Star game. I understand that. That was a dumb idea, and they took it away. So I'm glad they did. So with this whole old versus young, this is what the starting lineups would look like. Rising stars, which would be the young, which about, I think it's less than 5 years of Major League experience. Mookie Betts, Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, Jose Abreu, Andrew Benintendi, Wilson Contreras, Scooter Gennett, and then Garrett Cole against Jose Altuve, Freddie Freeman, Mike Trout, JD Martinez, Juan Carlos Stanton, Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas, and Max Scherzer. Looks pretty good to me. So another creative idea to keep it going. And here's another one. Making the All-Star game, I already mentioned that one, my bad. The first Saturday after the All-Star break, have a full slate of day-night doubleheaders. So every team plays a doubleheader. All those ticket proceeds go towards charity. And when you buy a seat, you get entrance into both games. And the cool thing about this is when you can do the interleague play. A lot of times there's, this team will play this team only twice at each other's stadium, and this eliminates one of those and traveling or hanging out in the city you don't like any longer than you want to. So good idea. And then also have the MLB draft live at the All-Star game afterwards. Brings more attention to these young stars and to that idea, because right now if you don't follow the right people on Twitter or watch MLB Network, you don't really learn much about it. It just kind of passes by. And it just takes so long for a player to go through the minors to get to where you actually see them, unless they're a phenom like Bryce Harper, Manny, Mike Trout, and some others. So this kind of brings more attention to that. And then also, finally, some fan service ideas. A couple of those is incorporate public address announcers more into each game. So not at an obnoxious level, but at a level where when there's a home run hit, someone would announce, this is Bryce Harper's 10th home run of this year. Or when a pitcher strikes a batter out, they will mention, and his strikeout counter just went up to 65 for, this week or this year. Just ways to interact with the fans more so they have more to cheer about other than, if they didn't see the play, well, at least they heard what happened. And then encourage spontaneous celebration. So the opposite of what I think the players would allow to a certain extent. Let the batters celebrate their home runs. Let the pitchers celebrate their strikeouts. And no one gets their feelings hurt because we're all brave macho men and we need to stop crying like little babies. All right. Anyway, so there's that. That's our pop-up. Jeff Passan, he is MLB columnist for Yahoo Sports. He's the one who's credited with putting this all together, adding his own little objective statements. And I'm going to link the article somewhere in this pop-up that you can click and get further information. Okay? All right. Until Friday. See you.